Okay, so in this video, I'm going to go over last semester's quiz 4. So again, this semester, the quiz is going to be true, false, and multiple choice. So I'm not sure how useful this will be, but it's at least going to go over a lot of the same concepts that you'll probably find on the quiz. So, okay. And by the way, I've posted this quiz along with the answers on the course website, so you can take a look at it there. Okay, so anyway, here's the explanation. So for number one, what will happen when you try to compile and run the following code? So it looks like I've got an animal class here, I've got a monkey which extends animal right here, and then I have an implementation class. So let's see. It looks like here in animal we've got a toString, and monkey has a toString that overrides. Okay, well when I say it overrides, notice that it makes this called a super. Okay, and then we have a run method here and a climb method here. Okay, so in our implementation class, let's see, we are creating an array of animals of size 3. Then we're creating a new animal, then we're creating a new monkey, and then we're creating a new monkey. Okay, so we have one animal and two monkeys. And then we're looping through that array, and we are just printing out the object. So an, yes, an is the name of our array, an sub I. Okay, so what we can see is that because we're just printing out the object directly, it's going to look for the toString method. All right, so for animal, it's going to call the toString method, and it's going to just print out animal. Okay, for monkey, it's going to look at monkey's toString method, and it's going to call super.toString, which prints out animal, and then it'll print out monkey right after that. So in other words, what this should do is this should print out animal for the first line, and then animal monkey for the second line, and then animal monkey for the third line. Okay? Because of this call to super, all right, this is going to cause, anytime you have a monkey that you print out, it's going to print out animal monkey, because it's going to do super, which prints out this, and then monkey. So it'll be animal monkey anytime you print out a monkey. Okay, so the answer is animal, animal monkey, and then animal monkey. Okay, and all right, so number 2. Write a snippet of code that will loop through an arbitrary animal array. Okay, so I guess we're using this animal array up here. And if appropriate, execute the climb method. Hint, some animals might not climb. Okay. Yeah, so in that case, here, I guess what we can do is can I edit this? Oh, I can't edit this. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just do it here in Java. Okay. So, so for a snippet of code, what we're going to do, I guess I need to create a new file here. All right, so we'll do for int I equals 0, I is less than array.length. So the array is going to be our arbitrary animal array. Okay. And let's see, what did it say it wanted us to do? If appropriate, execute the climb method. Okay, so you'll notice that only monkeys have the climb method. The generic animal does not. Okay, so in other words, as we're looping through the array, what we need to do is we need to check to see whether or not the animal in question is a monkey. And if so, execute the climb method. So what we would do is we would say if array sub I instance of monkey, all right, so if it's a monkey, then we're going to do the downcast. So we'll say monkey m equals monkey, and then we're going to put in the array sub I. So we're taking that object, which in this case is an animal reference, and casting it to a monkey reference. And we know we can do that because of this check that we did. And then from there, we can do m.climb. Okay? So that should be the answer to the question, is you're going to have this loop, you're going to check to make sure that it's a monkey, and if so, you'll do the downcast and then execute the climb method. Okay? So that is the answer to question number 2. All right, question number 3. Given the following interface, public interface herbivore, we have a public void eat method and a public string get favorite plant. All right. So given that interface, create a new class deer that is a subclass of animal. Okay, so it's a subclass of this animal up here, which has all this. Okay. And incorporates the herbivore interface. You only need to put in enough code to make deer compile. Okay. All right, so we know to make a subclass of animal. That's easy enough. So what we'll do is we will say, I'll just put it down under here. So we would say public class deer. And then to make it a subclass of animal, it's going to extends animal. Okay. But then the question also said it needs to incorporate the herbivore interface. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to implement herbivore. All right, so we have, this is both a subclass of animal and it's implementing the herbivore interface. Okay. Well, now in order for that to work, I'm just going to comment this out here real quick. Okay, in order for this to work, the herbivore interface has defined a number of methods, right? It's got this eat method and this get favorite plant. Okay, so we have to actually stick these in order to even get this program to compile. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these in. And all right, and so for the eat method, since it's void, we don't even really actually need to put in any code here, and that'll compile. Okay, and then for get favorite plant, this wants to return some kind of a string, so we need to at least, put in, like we could return blank, or we could return whatever, tree or something like that. Okay, so this should be enough to actually make this compile. All right, that's the answer. So the point is that you would need to know that to make it a subclass, you need to do the extends. In order to use the interface, you have to do the implements herbivore. And then because we implemented herbivore, we have to provide an implementation for all of the methods that are defined in herbivore. So there's an eat method and a get favorite plant. And then since this get favorite plant returns a string, in order to get this to compile, we have to actually make this return a string. If we left this out, then it would complain and say, hey, you're saying you're returning a string, but you're not returning a string. Because this one is void, we don't have to do anything. So that would be the answer to question number 3. Okay. Number 4, assume the deer class you just created has a new instance variable named antlers, whose type is antlers. Okay, so we have this new object type called antlers. Okay, so a deer has an antlers. Okay, so you notice this is a has a kind of a thing, right? So in other words, what they're saying is that there is now this new object here like this. Okay, so this is a has a kind of relationship. So this is an example of composition. The deer has some antlers. Okay, and then we see that antlers has a public int points and a public double weight. Okay, and so they want us to create a set antlers method in the deer class. Okay, so in order to do that, all right, public void set antlers. Okay, and then because it's a setter, we would probably need to accept an antlers object. Okay, and so now what do we remember about using getters and setters when we have objects in here? We have to use the copy constructor, or we have to somehow make a copy, right? We can't, the temptation would be to just say antlers equals A, and that would not be correct. I mean, it would compile, but the problem is that you're potentially violating information hiding if you did this, particularly if this antlers were private. Okay? So what you need to do instead is you need to actually create a copy of antlers. Now, in my problem definition, I actually don't even have any constructors here in antlers or anything like that. And I noticed that both of these things are public, okay? So what I could do is I could just say, all right, I am going to say this dot antlers dot, what were the two attributes? There was points and weight. Okay, so points equals a dot points, and this dot antlers dot weight equals a dot weight. Okay, but even this probably isn't a very good idea because I have never actually initialized this to anything. All right, so probably what I ought to do instead is I ought to just go ahead and say like antlers temp equals new antlers, like this. Okay, and then what I can say is I can say we'll do temp dot points equals a dot points, temp dot weight equals a dot weight, and then we're going to take this and make that equal to temp. So antlers equals temp, like that. So this would probably be the best way to do it. That way we're sure that the antlers object actually gets instantiated. Okay, so this would probably be the way to do the setter. Okay, and all right, and then number 5, write a snippet of code that will create a new file called foo.txt. Print the string, you are a monkey to the file, and then close the file. You do not need to handle any exceptions. Okay, so for that, since we don't need to handle any exceptions, that's actually pretty simple. All we would do is, so for doing file output, we're going to do print writer, pw equals new print writer. Okay, and we don't have to check whether the file exists or doing any appending or anything like that. So we can just put in the foo.txt like this. Okay, and then pw print line, you are a monkey. And don't forget to close the print writer. Okay, now if we had to handle exceptions, we'd have to put all this in a try catch block and handle the file not founds and the IO exceptions and all that kind of stuff. But the problem said that we didn't have to do that, so that's basically all that we need to do. Okay, just those 3 lines right there. So that's basically the quiz. Again, I have posted this particular file, and then there's an answer file that looks like this. Okay, that shows you the answer to all of the questions. I've posted that out on the website for my section, so you can look at that and use this to help you study for the quiz.